When a woman hurts you, the pain isn't just emotional, it hits your confidence, your trust, and sometimes even your sense of identity. As men, we are often taught to stay strong, to hide our feelings, and to pretend that nothing affects us. But the truth is, when someone you cared for wounds you, it creates a storm inside your heart. You start questioning everything you're worth, your decisions, your effort, and even your understanding of love. And while she might move on easily or pretend nothing happened, you are left carrying the weight of emotions that you never asked for. But here's the secret no one tells you. You don't heal by chasing, explaining, or begging. You heal by shifting your energy. You don't win by showing how broken you are. You win by showing how unbothered, unpredictable, and emotionally controlled you can be. When a woman hurts you, the most powerful move is not revenge, not anger, and definitely not desperation. The most powerful move is confusion, the type of confusion that makes her question why you're suddenly so calm, so distant, so focused, and so unaffected by her behavior. Because once a woman feels like she has full emotional power over you, she stops valuing you. But when you shift your behavior not in a toxic way, but in a strategic, self-respecting way, everything changes. She starts wondering what happened. She starts asking herself why you're not reacting the way she expected. She starts feeling the uncertainty that she once made you feel, and in that moment, the balance resets, not because you manipulated her, but because you reclaimed your power. Confusion doesn't mean playing childish games. It means moving differently. It means being unpredictable with your emotions, unavailable with your time, and untouchable when it comes to your self-respect. It means showing her without a single argument that the version of you she hurt no longer exists. You evolved, you leveled up, and you refused to let her define your emotional state. When a woman hurts you, the goal is not to make her suffer. The goal is to remind her of your value, remind yourself of your strength, and show the world that you can walk away from pain without losing your dignity. The right confusion is simply this. You stop giving her the energy she once used to control you. You redirect your focus, rebuild your confidence, and step into a version of yourself that she didn't expect. This introduction sets the stage for understanding powerful psychological shifts, not to manipulate her, but to protect your heart, regain control, and stand strong again. Because sometimes the best way to handle hurt is not to respond with emotion, but to respond with silence, strength, and surprising confidence. When a woman hurts you, the immediate instinct is often to respond, to argue, explain, or even beg for understanding. But the truth is, responding emotionally only feeds into the cycle of pain. The first key to confusing her after she hurts you is silence. Silence is a powerful tool, far stronger than words, because it creates a vacuum that she cannot control. She expects a reaction, anger, tears, frustration, or even desperation. When you refuse to give her that reaction, you break her expectations, and that in itself is confusing. Silence is not passive. It is an active choice to protect your peace. It's saying to yourself, I will not let your actions define my emotions or my worth. Many people underestimate the power of staying calm and composed. When she tries to provoke you or push emotional buttons and you respond with nothing, it creates uncertainty. She wonders, why isn't he angry? Why isn't he sad? Why doesn't he care? And that's exactly the point. You don't need to explain yourself to someone who already chose to hurt you. Your calmness and quiet confidence communicate more than words ever could. The beauty of silence lies in its dual effect. On one hand, it protects you. You're not exposing yourself to more pain, arguments, or emotional manipulation. On the other hand, it subtly shifts the power dynamic. She begins to feel the absence of the control she once had over you. It's not about punishing her. It's about showing her that you are untouchable emotionally. Your value does not decrease because of her actions. In fact, by staying silent, you increase your self-respect and maintain dignity in a situation that could easily make you feel weak or small. Silence also forces reflection both for her and for you. For her, it becomes a mirror of her own behavior. She starts to notice what she lost, your attention, your reaction, your vulnerability. For you, silence is an opportunity to process your emotions without external pressure. It allows you to regain clarity, rebuild your confidence, and plan your next move strategically. You are no longer a puppet of her moods or words. You are standing firm in your own emotional space, letting the world and her see your strength. Finally, silence is a form of emotional unpredictability, which is one of the most confusing things to someone who tried to hurt you. She expects chaos, and instead she finds peace. She expects reaction, and instead she finds composure. She expects control, and instead she finds independence. This is the first step in confusing her, not through games or manipulation, but by showing that your emotions are yours to govern. Once she realizes that your peace is untouchable, she begins to question her own behavior, her own choices, and her own assumptions about you. And that, ultimately, shifts the power back to where it belongs. With you, after a woman hurts you, it's natural to dwell on the pain, replay the moments in your head, and wonder why it happened. But one of the most effective ways to confuse her and regain control of your life is to shift your focus entirely onto yourself. When she expects you to be preoccupied with her actions, upset, or seeking answers, and instead you redirect your energy to self-improvement, growth, and happiness, it leaves her bewildered. She no longer knows how to affect you the way she once did, and that uncertainty works in your favor. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean ignoring your emotions or pretending you're unaffected. It means channeling your energy toward constructive action rather than destructive reaction. Take time to improve your body, your mind, and your social life. Pursue hobbies you once neglected. Dedicate more energy to your career, or spend quality time with people who value you. When she sees that you're thriving without her involvement, she begins to question her assumptions. Why isn't he upset? Why isn't he reaching out? Why does he seem happier than before? That confusion is exactly what reinforces your strength. Self-focus also creates an aura of emotional independence, which is highly attractive and disarming. She may have hurt you thinking it would elicit a reaction, but by centering your attention on your own growth, you demonstrate that your happiness does not depend on her actions. Your world doesn't stop when she causes chaos instead. It moves forward, stronger than ever. This behavior subtly communicates, I am in control of my life, and I will not let anyone, not even you, destabilize me. Another critical aspect of this key is that self-focus builds resilience. When you actively work on yourself, you naturally rebuild your confidence and self-worth. This makes it difficult for anyone to hurt or manipulate you in the future. You no longer react impulsively to emotional triggers. Instead, you respond thoughtfully, deliberately, and with calm authority. That calmness, combined with visible self-growth, creates a powerful psychological impact. She starts to see a version of you that she didn't anticipate, a version that cannot be easily controlled or hurt. Finally, focusing on yourself is not just about personal gain. It's about reclaiming your power. When someone tries to hurt you, it's easy to feel powerless, but turning your attention inward reminds you that you are the architect of your own life. You choose where to invest your time, energy, and emotions. She can hurt you no longer because she no longer occupies the center of your world. Your world is your own, vibrant and thriving, and her confusion comes from realizing that she no longer has a seat at the helm of your life. By prioritizing yourself over her actions, you not only regain control, but also create a magnetic mystery around you. She sees the transformation, the self-assurance, and the emotional stability, and she doesn't know how to react. That confusion is the natural consequence of turning pain into personal power. And it's one of the most effective ways to handle someone who tried to hurt you, without ever stooping to games, arguments, or desperation. When a woman hurts you, she often expects a predictable response: anger, sadness, confrontation, or attempts at reconciliation. That predictability is what gives her a sense of control over you. The third key to confusing her and reclaiming your emotional power is to be unpredictable, not reactive. This doesn't mean playing childish games or being manipulative. It means refusing to let her actions dictate your emotions or behavior. Instead, you move in ways that are measured, confident, and unexpected. Being unpredictable begins with controlling your reactions. When she tries to provoke you, do not respond in the way she anticipates. For example, if she expects you to argue, remain calm or walk away. If she expects jealousy or insecurity, maintain your composure and show confidence. Your emotional independence creates a sense of mystery. She begins to wonder why her usual tactics no longer work. This uncertainty unsettles her because she loses the ability to predict or manipulate your behavior. And in relationships, unpredictability paired with calmness is far more powerful than anger or confrontation. Unpredictability also includes how you present yourself externally. Focus on small changes in your routine, appearance, or lifestyle that reflect your growth. She might see you socializing more, pursuing new goals, or simply looking happier and healthier. Each subtle change reinforces the confusion. She realizes the person she hurt is evolving into someone she didn't expect. By showing that you are not tied to her whims, you communicate strength without a single word. Another important element is measured response. Reacting emotionally to pain is natural, but strategic unpredictability requires delay and thoughtfulness. Instead of reacting immediately to her messages, calls, or attempts to engage, pause, take your time, let your actions reflect calm deliberation, not impulsive emotion. This pause gives her a sense of uncertainty. She wonders whether you're upset, indifferent, or even over her entirely. That mental space you create is a quiet yet powerful form of influence. Being unpredictable doesn't mean being cruel or distant without reason. It means establishing boundaries and showing her that your emotions are not a toy for her amusement. You decide when, how, and why you interact based on your needs, not hers. That alone confuses someone who expected to easily affect you, because she is forced to see you as an independent individual with priorities beyond her control. Ultimately, the goal of unpredictability is to regain emotional sovereignty. When a woman hurts you, confusion becomes a tool to protect your heart and demonstrate self-respect. By refusing to react predictably, you shift the emotional power dynamic. She no longer has control, and you regain authority over your own emotional world. Unpredictability, when paired with calmness and self-focus, becomes a silent yet unmistakable message. You are no longer the person she can easily hurt, manipulate, or influence. You are now in control, and that is a confusion she will feel deeply, without you having to say a single word when a woman hurts you. One of the most effective ways to regain control and confuse her is by creating distance and setting clear boundaries. Many people, in moments of emotional pain, make the mistake of staying too close to someone who has already caused hurt. They continue to engage, explain, or justify their feelings, unintentionally giving the other person power over their emotions. Distance, on the other hand, is a tool of strength. It communicates a simple but powerful message. I will not allow anyone to disrespect or manipulate my heart. Distance isn't about being cold or vengeful. It's about protecting your emotional space. By stepping back, you allow yourself time to heal, reflect, and regain clarity. You are no longer available for impulsive reactions or emotional manipulation. She may notice your absence, your reduced responses, or your refusal to immediately engage in conflict. That absence creates a sense of confusion because she expected you to continue reacting to her behavior. Instead, she sees a man who is calm, self-assured, and untouchable emotionally. That shift in dynamic challenges her assumptions about you and your relationship. Setting boundaries is equally crucial. Boundaries define what behavior is acceptable and what is not. If she crosses those boundaries, you enforce consequences without anger or drama. For example, if she tries to provoke you with hurtful words, you calmly disengage or walk away. If she attempts to guilt or pressure you into forgiveness, you politely but firmly maintain your stance. Boundaries show that your self-respect is non-negotiable. They make her aware that she can no longer control your emotions through manipulation or past patterns. This combination of distance and boundaries naturally creates psychological confusion because she can no longer predict your responses or exploit your vulnerabilities. Creating distance also gives you the chance to focus on your personal growth. Instead of being preoccupied with her actions or intentions, you spend time improving yourself, pursuing your passions, and strengthening your social circle. She may see you living a life independent of her influence, thriving without her involvement, and appearing happier than before. That contrast between the expectation of emotional control and the reality of your independence is profoundly confusing for someone who thought they had power over you. Finally, distance and boundaries help you reclaim your emotional sovereignty. When a woman hurts you, it's easy to feel pulled back into the cycle of conflict, apology, or explanation. By consciously stepping back and setting limits, you regain control of your feelings, your decisions, and your energy. Confusing her is not about gamesmanship. It's about demonstrating that your emotional world is untouchable and self-governed. You are no longer reactive or predictable. Instead, you are calm, independent, and resilient, and that is one of the most powerful forms of confusion she will ever experience after a woman hurts you. One of the most disarming and confusing strategies is to raise your own value and demonstrate your growth subtly. This isn't about boasting, showing off, or trying to make her jealous. It's about quietly becoming a better, stronger, more confident version of yourself so that she can't help but notice the transformation. When she sees the man she once hurt thriving and evolving, she experiences a type of confusion that words cannot create. Raising your value starts with self-improvement. This could be physical, mental, emotional, or social growth. Take care of your body, adopt healthier habits, and dress in a way that reflects confidence. Strengthen your mind through learning, acquiring new skills, or pursuing goals that matter to you. Cultivate emotional intelligence and resilience so that you no longer react impulsively to emotional triggers. By focusing on these areas, you naturally increase your attractiveness not to impress her, but to elevate yourself beyond the reach of her influence. Subtlety is key. You don't need to announce your progress or demand recognition. She will notice it without you saying a word. Whether it's the way you carry yourself, the energy you radiate, or the new achievements you accomplish, your growth becomes visible in natural, undeniable ways. The confusion arises because she expected you to remain the same person, vulnerable, reactive, and emotionally available at her convenience. Instead, she finds a man who is independent, composed, and thriving. someone she can no longer easily manipulate or hurt. Another important aspect is raising your social and personal standing. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, engage in activities that bring joy, and create new experiences that reinforce your self-worth. When she sees that your life is moving forward, full of purpose and fulfillment, it challenges her assumptions. She may wonder why she no longer holds the center of your attention, or why her past actions haven't broken you. This type of confusion is powerful because it is rooted in reality, in the visible evidence of your personal evolution. Raising your value also reinforces your self-respect and boundaries. A woman who hurt you may have previously relied on insecurity or emotional vulnerability to control your behavior. By growing stronger and more confident, you send a clear, silent message: I am valuable, independent, and in control of my life. I will not tolerate behavior that diminishes my worth. That message, without confrontation or anger, creates psychological confusion. She no longer knows how to influence you, provoke you, or predict your reactions. Finally, subtle growth is not about revenge or punishment. It's about becoming the best version of yourself for your own life, not hers. When you focus on your evolution, you gain clarity, power, and peace, and she is left to reconcile the unexpected strength and calmness of someone she once thought she could hurt. That silent transformation is one of the most effective ways to confuse a woman who caused you pain, because it demonstrates resilience, independence, and undeniable value. When a woman hurts you, it's natural to feel anger, disappointment, or even the urge to confront her. However, reacting emotionally often plays into her expectations and gives her a sense of control. The sixth key to confusing her is to maintain emotional detachment while remaining civil. This approach allows you to engage in necessary interactions without giving away your emotional state, leaving her uncertain about how deeply she affected you. Emotional detachment doesn't mean becoming cold or distant in a harmful way. Instead, it's about holding your composure and controlling your inner world, regardless of her words or actions. By separating your emotions from her behavior, you prevent her from manipulating your feelings or provoking a reaction. She may try to draw you into arguments, guilt trips, or emotional exchanges, but when you respond with calm civility instead of emotional volatility, it confuses her. She expected you to react with frustration or sadness, but you respond with composed neutrality, and that unpredictability unsettles her. Being civil while detached demonstrates maturity and self-respect. You can speak politely, answer questions, and maintain basic communication without revealing vulnerability or resentment. For example, if she reaches out to discuss past issues, you can respond thoughtfully, calmly, and briefly without engaging in endless debates or reliving the pain. This behavior shows that you are in control of yourself and your emotions, which makes it difficult for her to gauge your feelings. That confusion reinforces your strength and subtly shifts the power dynamic. Emotional detachment also protects your mental and emotional health. By not allowing her actions to trigger reactive behaviors, you create psychological space to process your feelings privately and intentionally. This space allows you to heal faster, regain clarity, and focus on your personal growth. Meanwhile, she sees someone who is unaffected outwardly, and she starts to question what is really going on beneath the surface. This ambiguity keeps her off balance, which is precisely the type of confusion that shifts control back to you. Another advantage of this approach is that it demonstrates dignity under pressure. She may test your patience or push boundaries to see if she can provoke a response. By staying detached yet civil, you set a tone of calm authority. She begins to understand that her previous methods of control or provocation no longer work. Your unshakable calmness becomes a subtle but powerful form of influence because it signals that you are emotionally independent and no longer available for manipulation. Ultimately, maintaining emotional detachment while staying civil is a sophisticated strategy. It confuses her not through aggression or retaliation, but through quiet strength, clarity, and self-control. She sees a man who can interact without being dominated by emotion, a man who has regained power over his own feelings. This balance of politeness and detachment creates a sense of unpredictability she can neither fully understand nor control, and that is the essence of regaining emotional dominance after being hurt. When a woman hurts you, one of the most effective ways to confuse her is by showing, rather than telling, that you are thriving. This key is about leveraging your success and confidence in subtle ways, so she can't help but notice the transformation. The key isn't arrogance or flaunting. It's about quietly becoming someone she can no longer predict or influence, a man who has regained control of his life and emotions. Confidence is magnetic, and it is inherently confusing to someone who thought they had emotional leverage over you. When you carry yourself with self-assuredness, whether in your speech, body language, or decision making, she will notice. Confidence signals that you are emotionally stable, independent, and not defined by her actions. She expected uncertainty, emotional reactions, or vulnerability. Instead, she sees a man who is calm, in control, and focused on his own path. That contrast creates psychological confusion because her usual tactics no longer work on you. Subtle success plays a similar role. Achievements, growth, and progress, whether in your career, social life, hobbies, or personal development, serve as visible proof that you are thriving without her involvement. She may notice you excelling at work, building new connections, or pursuing passions she never encouraged. This silent demonstration of growth makes her question her impact on your life. She begins to wonder, why does he seem unaffected? Why does he appear happier, stronger, and more self-assured? That uncertainty unsettles her because she expected you to be struggling or emotionally entangled after the hurt. The power of subtlety cannot be overstated. You don't need to post achievements online or announce your progress. Subtle gestures, casual updates, or simply carrying yourself with confidence are enough. Let your life speak for itself. The quiet, visible difference between the man she hurt and the man she now sees is more confusing and impactful than any confrontation or argument could ever be. This approach also reinforces self-respect and independence. By focusing on your own success and confidence, you demonstrate that your happiness, growth, and sense of worth are entirely your own. She no longer has control over your emotional world. The man she thought she could hurt is gone. In his place stands someone who thrives, regardless of her behavior. That realization can be profoundly disorienting for someone who underestimated your resilience. Ultimately, leveraging success and confidence is about regaining the psychological upper hand without resorting to negativity or revenge. You show strength, stability, and independence qualities that she cannot manipulate or predict. By doing so subtly, you maintain dignity while creating the kind of confusion that shifts power back to you. She is left to wonder how someone she once hurt could become so composed, successful, and confident, while you silently enjoy your growth and reclaim your life when a woman hurts you. It's natural to feel pain, confusion, and even anger. These emotions are valid and human, but how you respond defines your growth, dignity, and future. All the keys we've discussed, from silence to self-focus, unpredictability, distance, subtle growth, emotional detachment, and leveraging success, point toward a single truth. The most powerful response to hurt is regaining control of your own life. Confusing her is not about revenge. It is about demonstrating that her actions no longer have the power to dictate your emotional state or your path. Life teaches us that people who hurt us often expect predictable reactions. They expect us to fall into despair, argue endlessly, or seek explanations. By refusing to play into these expectations, you reclaim your autonomy. Silence, for example, becomes a shield, protecting you from further emotional harm while creating subtle confusion. When combined with self-focus, it allows you to invest your energy in yourself rather than in someone who chose to hurt you. Unpredictability and emotional detachment then amplify this effect, making it impossible for her to manipulate or provoke you. Distance and boundaries serve as the next layer of protection. By stepping back, you establish the rules of engagement in your life. You no longer allow her actions to control your mood or dictate your decisions. At the same time, subtle growth and visible self-improvement act as a quiet, undeniable message. You are evolving into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. Her attempts to affect your emotions no longer succeed because you have shifted your center of power inward toward your own values and priorities. Leveraging confidence and success is the final piece of this strategy. By living well, achieving goals, and presenting yourself with calm assurance, you communicate more than words ever could. She sees a man who is thriving independently, a man whose life continues to progress despite past hurts. This demonstration of strength and resilience is disorienting for someone who expected you to remain vulnerable or reactive. It is the ultimate form of subtle confusion, showing that you are untouchable emotionally without resorting to drama or manipulation. The most important lesson in all of this is self-respect. Confusing someone who hurt you is not about making them suffer. It is about reclaiming your power, dignity, and peace of mind. It is about living a life where your happiness and growth are determined by you, not by anyone who chooses to wound or manipulate. Every step staying silent, focusing on yourself, being unpredictable, creating boundaries, showing growth, maintaining emotional detachment, and displaying quiet confidence strengthens your position and protects your heart. In the end, the goal is simple. Move forward stronger, wiser, and more confident than before. Let her hurt be the catalyst that transforms you into someone unshakable, independent, and fully in control of your life. Confusing her is simply a natural consequence of your evolution. She once thought she could affect your emotions and influence your actions, but now she sees a man who stands firm, thrives, and refuses to be defined by past pain. That is the true power of turning hurt into strength, pain into growth, and emotional confusion into a reflection of your inner mastery.